Hello, everyone. Happy Football Friday. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. I want to send a special shout out to our boy Mark Warren, getting prepped for the West Carolina football game coming up tomorrow. But great night last night in on the Thursday night game for my Panthers. We'll talk about that game. We'll get you caught up with all the MACtion that happened this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then talk about the Monday night game as well, Ravens Saints, and then we will look at all the injuries coming up for the slate this weekend, and then we'll get you our picks for those games in the college and NFL landscape. Wearing my Northern Polar Bear gear tonight, Northern football. Got a big second round playoff game. So good luck, Polar Bears, on the road there. So first game we had MACtion on Tuesday. Eastern Michigan, the Eagles getting bowl eligible 34-28 over Akron. It was closer than a lot of people thought, maybe, but Austin Smith had a decent night through the air for EMU, 16 of 28, 57.1%, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 5 carries for 18 yards. For Akron, they played 2 quarterbacks. I believe DJ Irons got injured in this game here. So Irons, while he was playing 10 of 16, 63.5%, 90 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick, 9 carries for 32 yards. Interceptions hurt the Zips all night with their 2 quarterbacks combining to throw 3. When Irons went out, Jeff Undercuffler Jr. came in for Akron, 8 of 18, 44.4% completion, 133 yards and 2 picks. The running game was prevalent for both teams. Really, that's the reason Akron was able to stay in it. Their running back, Cam Wiley, 18 carries, 144 yards. That's 8 yards per carry. Great there. 3 rushing touchdowns and also 4 receptions for 34 yards. Like I said, running game both good for both teams because Eastern Michigan running back Samson Evans also nice. 24 carries, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 catch for 3 yards. 100-yard receiver in this game, Akron wide receiver Alex Adams, 6 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Defensive player of the game for me has to go to Akron linebacker Bubba Arslanian. 12 tackles, 4 solos, a half a tackle for loss, 2 pass deflections, and a pick. Eastern Michigan -6 pushed and over 57.5. Ohio getting it done. The Bobcats 7-3, 37-21 over Miami, Ohio. Curtis Rourke continues to light it up. 25 of 35, 71.4%, 362 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not Blaine Gabbert. It should be Brett Gabbert for Miami, Ohio. My bad. That's his brother, Blaine. 20 of 26, 76.9%, 244 yards and 3 touchdowns. So a nice night for Brett Gabbert as well. Rushing wise, the 100-yard rusher in this game, Ohio running back Saye Bengora, 20 carries, 145 yards, a touchdown, and a 27-yard receiving touchdown as well. Leading receiver in this game, we had 200-yard receivers here. Ohio wide receiver Miles Cross, 6 receptions, 133 yards. And then for the Red Hawks, wide receiver Mac Hippenhammer, formerly of Penn State, where he started out his college career, 8 receptions, 107 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Hip. Great night for that Red Hawk anyways. Ohio wide receiver Jacoby Jones, also notable, 4 receptions, 78 yards, and he caught 2 touchdowns there. Defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Miami, Ohio defensive lineman Brian Uwu. 7 tackles, 2 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hurry. Ohio cover -2 over 52. Toledo getting it done in a close one over Ball State. Knew this game was going to be good. 28-21 Rockets. Daquan Finn played in this one, and he was pretty good. 21 of 38, 55.3%, 301 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. 8 carries for 10 yards there. John Paddock struggled all night for the Cardinals. 13 of 35, 37.1%, 94 yards and a pick. The reason why Ball State was in this game, though, their running back, who is just awesome, Carson Steele, 28 carries, 198 yards and 3 touchdowns, 3 receptions for -2 yards there. But what a night for Mr. Steele and a losing effort there. Leading receiver in the game, Toledo wide receiver Jawan Newton, 7 receptions, 94 yards and a touchdown. And defensively, I think I'm going to go with the bottom guy there. Toledo safety MACtion Hook, 7 tackles, 2 solos, 2 pass deflections, and a pick. Ball State covered easily, plus 13.5, under 53.5. Wednesday night MACtion, Northern Illinois getting it done, a 24-21 over Western Michigan. Rusty's Huskies came to play on a Wednesday night. Trayson Burgett for Western, 15 of 30, 50%, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 17 carries, 43 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. NIU played 2 quarterbacks there. Nevin Kramascoli, 8 of 17 of 47.1%, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Don't know how NIU is even in this game with 3 interceptions when the other quarterback only turned it over once. Justin Lynch for NIU also 0 for 1 passing, but he did carry it 6 times for 83 yards and a touchdown. NIU was led by their running back, Jaden Cradle, 36 carries, 136 yards and a touchdown. Western Michigan running back Sean Tyler also very close to a 100-yard performance, 18 carries, 97 yards, and a score. Western Michigan wide receiver Corey Crooms led the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 105 yards. And defensively, got to go with Northern Illinois defensive end Rayshane Thomas, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 4 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. NIU covered. It was a pick'em game and under 49. Central Michigan upsetting Buffalo 31-27. Really wasn't an upset technically by the bookmakers, but record-wise it was. Cole Snyder for the Bulls, 19 of 32, 59.24%, 191 yards a pick, 12 carries for 27 yards. CMU played 2 quarterbacks. Daniel Richardson got injured in this one while he was in 7 of 14, 50%, 95 yards. But the story of this game was freshman quarterback Bert Emanuel Jr. Passing-wise, not that great. 1 of 3, 33.3%, 22 yards. But holy hell rushing the ball. 24 carries, 293 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a fumble. Legs for days Bert Emanuel had. I believe he ran 2 75-yard touchdowns in. All 3 of his rushing touchdowns, I believe, were very long. But yeah, I watched this game and this kid just was running everywhere. So yeah, he ran 75 yards and 87 yards were 2 of his 3 touchdowns. Then he got the game-winning touchdown with 7.5 to go in the game from 1 yard out. Buffalo running back Ron Cook Jr. also a 100-yard performance here on the ground, 22 carries, 100 yards even, 1 touchdown and 1 39-yard reception. Leading receiver in the game, Central Michigan tight end Cade Conley, 3 receptions, 61 yards. And defensively, got to go with Central Michigan defensive lineman Thomas Incoom, 13 tackles, 10 of them solos, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, and a QB hurry. Central Michigan cover -3 over 54. -3 by 1. Kent State just crushing Bowling Green 40-6. I did not see this one coming. Thought Bowling Green had a lot to play for, and they did. Just did not show it at home here. Matt McDonald for the Falcons, 31 of 40, 77.5%, 246 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. Connor Schlee was pretty good for Kent State, 17 of 30, 56.7%, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 7 carries for 22 yards, and another touchdown there, 4 total for Schlee on the night. Bowling Green also played quarterback Camden Orth for a little, 0 for 1 passing, 1 interception there. Leading rusher in the game, Kent State running back Marquez Cooper, 19 carries, 93 yards, 2 receptions, 26 yards. Leading receiver in the game, also for Kent, wide receiver Devontae Walker, 5 receptions, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. Defensively, it's tough. I got to mention both of them. Kent State's defense played well all night. Linebacker Marvin Pierre, 9 tackles, 4 solos, a half a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 1 QB hurry, and a 33-yard pick 6. And also Golden Flashes, defensive lineman Savon Taylor Davis, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3's wild for STD there. Kent State covered easily -3, under 56. Last night, Memphis getting it done, 26-10 over Tulsa. Seth Hennigan, 20 of 34, 58.8%, 262 yards and a touchdown for the Tigers. For the Golden Hurricanes there, 2 quarterbacks played. I believe Davis Brin got the start, 5 of 13, 38.5%, 48 yards and a pick. Maybe not. Braylon Braxton did play as well. For Tulsa, 12 of 24, 50%, 128 yards and a touchdown. So neither quarterback really that effective. Leading rusher in the game, not much for either side, but Memphis running back Javion Ducker, 14 carries, 32 yards. Leading receiver in the game, Memphis wide receiver Javon Ivory, 7 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, couple good performances here. Gonna go with the bottom guy there, Memphis defensive lineman Jalen Allen, 3 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 4 QB hurries. Memphis covered easily -6.5, under 62.5 easily. Louisiana crushing Georgia Southern, a game I thought Georgia Southern was going to win. 36-17 final here. Kyle Van Treese for the Eagles, 28 of 49, 57.1%, 325 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Ben Woolridge was pretty good for the Raging Cajuns, 17 of 31, 54.8%, 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 6 carries for 38 yards there. Leading rusher on the night, Louisiana running back Chris Smith, 17 carries, 80 yards, 1 catch for 6 yards as well. Pretty good night for Georgia Southern running back OJ Arnold, 4 carries, 23 yards, 1 9-yard reception, and a 32-yard touchdown pass. Leading receiver in the game here, Georgia Southern wide receiver Derwin Burgess Jr., 5 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, I think I'm going to go with Louisiana safety Cam Pedescalo, 7 tackles, all of them solos, and 3 pass deflections. Louisiana cover -3.5, under 63. So crazily enough, we had 1 push and 1 pick 'em, but only outside of those 2, only 1 dog covered from Tuesday through Thursday games in college. Might be something to look at going forward this weekend. The under 63 hit in this game. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Ravens getting it done in New Orleans, 27-13. Andy Dalton, 19 of 29, 210 yards. That's 65.5%. 210 yards, a touchdown, and a pick for the Saints. For the Ravens, quarterback Lamar Jackson, 12 of 22, 54.5%, 133 yards and a touchdown, 11 carries for 82 yards. So that was the biggest difference I saw on offense between the two teams, was the running ability of Lamar, and the running game overall for Baltimore was just dominant. Running back Kenyon Drake, 24 carries, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 receptions for 16 yards there. Leading receiver in the game, rookie first rounder, wide receiver Chris Olave for New Orleans, 6 receptions, 71 yards, and on 9 targets. Defensively, have to go with Ravens linebacker Justin Houston. What a night for the veteran. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, 3 QB hurries, and a pick. Great night. Vintage Justin Houston there in New Orleans. Ravens covered easily, -1.5, under 46. Last night, great win for interim head coach Steve Wilks, PJ Walker, and the Carolina Panthers, debuting their black helmets. They looked so sexy out there in the all blacks. Blackout in Carolina last night was great to see in the rain. Panthers getting it done though, 25-15. What this game means is that if the Bucs lose to the Seahawks in Munich on Sunday, the Panthers will be 1 game out of first place, regardless of whether the Saints win in Pittsburgh or not. Marcus Mariota for the Falcons, though, 19 of 30, 63.3%, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 3 carries for 43 yards. PJ Walker wasn't asked to do a lot in this game. 10 of 16, 62.5%, 108 yards, 3 carries for 14 yards there. Big story in this one. Panthers running back Deontay Foreman led the way, 31 carries, 130 yards, and a touchdown. It was pound the rock all night. And as the Panthers love to say, a la Sam Mills, keep pounding. Leading receiver in the game, Falcons wide receiver Damiere Byrd, 3 receptions, 58 yards on 4 targets. And defensively, I'm going to go with Panthers linebacker Frankie Louvu, 12 tackles, 8 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a QB hit. Panthers +2.5, under 41.5. By 1.5, it got closer. Okay, we have a lot of news from a lot of different leagues. USFL news. We have a new head coach of the New Orleans Breakers. It is John DeFilippo. I remember him formerly with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been a lot of different places with Cleveland, with the Vikings, I believe, as well. Very experienced head coach. I think he'll do nicely there in New Orleans. The XFL draft. That will be held next week. November 15th will be the QB selection day. That starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the November 16th and 17th, that will be the rest of the XFL draft starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern there. You can watch that live stream on the XFL's website or YouTube channel, I believe. College football news, just one note here, sad note. Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall, he is out for the regular season, possibly the bowl game as well, depending on what bowl they get and when it is. He has a foot injury suffered last week against App State, 3 to 6 week recovery time. So hopefully he will come back stronger than ever. NFL news, though, some general stuff. a lot about the Colts to start off here. Colts owner Jim Irsay said he expects GM Chris Ballard to return next year. Does not see his job in jeopardy, even with the firing of Frank Reich mid-season. Colts interim head coach Jeff Saturday, he said Sam Ehlinger will remain the starter at QB. I would think that is going to be just on a game-by-game basis. I think will be how that goes right now anyways. I don't know. Maybe Saturday thinks a lot of Ehlinger. I don't know. And then final thing with the Colts here, they are expected to have a 30-year-old pass game specialist / assistant QBs coach Parks Frazier call plays. Has never called plays in the NFL or college, I believe. But QB at Northeast Mississippi Community College and Murray State, joined the Colts in 2018 as an assistant to Frank Reich. And now replacing him as play caller on offense. The Steelers, they are going to have a nice moment. I believe that's this weekend when they enshrine new players into their Hall of Honor. They include legendary tight end Heath Miller, one of the greatest players of my childhood Steelers growing up there. And the Heath chants continue with Pat Freiermuth, and now it's just Muth instead of Heath. So great to see that continue in Pittsburgh. Also going in the Hall of Honor with Miller is halfback / right end Ray Matthews, guards Sam Davis, and longtime broadcaster and creator of the terrible towel, Myron Cope. So great congratulations to those gentlemen there getting into the Steelers Hall of Honor. Big news out of Washington, D.C. yesterday. The U.S. Attorney General is suing the Commanders owner, Dan Snyder, the Commanders team, Commissioner Roger Goodell, and the NFL for colluding to deceive D.C. residents about the investigation into toxic workplace culture. Lots to look at in this case. The district attorney is really, because the Commanders are not located within the District of Columbia, they are located outside. Unfortunately, they can only bring this collusion suit. They cannot actually file suit regarding the actual workplace harassment and misconduct. But I think it is a big note for the Commanders and the NFL itself to be put on notice that, you know, this has to stop. And you know, whatever comes out of this case, I hope that the U.S. Attorney General can get it right and bring these people justice that were injured by this terrible workplace conduct there. So yeah, be following that story as it moves along. 1.6 million pages of documents the NFL gave the U.S. AG there. Crazy. The Raiders had a pretty tumultuous week. First thing here, Raiders linebacker Blake Martinez, he has retired. He was a tackling machine in his NFL career with the Packers, Giants, and Raiders. I believe those are the only three teams he played for. Could be wrong, but yes, he just tackle all day. Always the leading tackler on whatever team he was on. So great career for Blake Martinez. Hope he has fun in retirement there. And then interim head coach Steve Wilkes for the Panthers, he announced QB PJ Walker likely to remain the starter the rest of the season, I would have to think. Players designated to return or activated off of IR, 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell, linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair, and offensive lineman Colton McKivitz. So some depth and help coming for San Francisco. Titans wide receiver Traylon Burks, Steelers safety DeMonte KZ, and Saints getting a massive boost. Rookie first round offensive tackle Trevor Penning activated off of IR. Also being activated, actually I'll say that in a bit. Put on IR here, players. Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry, Steelers kicker Chris Boswell with a groin injury. Raiders, as I mentioned, their tumultuous week, placing at tight end Darren Waller, hamstring injury, and wide receiver Hunter Renfrow with an oblique injury, both on IR. So yeah, they're hurting for pass catchers now in Vegas. And also placed on IR, Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard might be out for the season. Back injury, back flared up once again. So not a great season for Leonard in Indy and Indy overall. Injuries, Jets defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins. He is out 4 to 6 weeks, dislocated his elbow last week. So blow to their defensive line there. Bills quarterback Josh Allen. He is day-to-day with a UCL injury, ulnar collateral ligament in his elbow. Not sure if he's going to play. Missed the last 3 days of practice, so I would expect Case Keenum likely to start in that one, but Josh Allen officially listed as questionable. Other quarterback injury here, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, day-to-day with a hamstring injury, officially listed as a game-time decision by head coach Cliff Kingsbury. 49ers corner Jason Verrett, he is out for the season once again. Just terrible injury luck throughout his career. Torn Achilles again there, so another rehab session coming up for Jason Verrett in his injury riddled career. Packers corner Eric Stokes likely out for the season. His ankle and knee injuries there. Bad thing to see for a team that's already struggling in Green Bay there. And then also terrible news from the game last night. Panthers corner Dante Jackson. He is also out for the season. Just like Jason Verrett, he tore his Achilles in the game last night. So big blow to the Panthers secondary coming up the last half of the season there. Ins and outs, the Bucks wide receiver Russell Gage and guard Luke Gadecki, they did not make the trip to Munich, so they are both out. Bills safety Jordan Poyer, defensive end Greg Rousseau, they are both out as well. Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, tight end David Njoku, both out, as are Colts tight end Jelani Woods and running back Deion Jackson. Jonathan Taylor should be back this week at full strength. Also, massive boost for the Pittsburgh Steelers in their game against the Saints this week. Linebacker TJ Watt expected to make his return after a 7-game hiatus from his pectoral injury. Hasn't played since week 1. And the Steelers defense will be lights out, I believe, in Pittsburgh this weekend. Titans, defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, safety Amani Hooker, linebacker Bud Dupree, and linebacker Zach Cunningham. They are all out, so horrible. Really a lot of key guys there for the Tennessee defense out this week. The Rams, another quarterback situation to look at. Quarterback Matthew Stafford, he is questionable, was in concussion protocol after last Sunday's game. We'll see if he clears it by game time. Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman with an abdomen injury. He is out, as is Lions wide receiver Josh Reynolds and Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, he is listed as questionable with a knee injury. And the Packers injuries here, wide receiver Amari Rodgers with a quad, left tackle David Bakhtiari with a knee are both questionable. Guys that are out, linebacker Devondre Campbell with a knee injury and wide receiver Romeo Doubs with his ankle injury. And also one other thing to note there, Titans. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill, he is questionable with his ankle injury against the Broncos. So we'll see if it's another week of Malik Willis. I thought Ryan Tannehill was going to be good to go, but listed as questionable officially on the injury report. Transactions here, a lot of movement releases. The Raiders released former first-round pick safety Jonathan Abram. He was subsequently claimed by the Packers on waivers, so Packers getting some secondary / hybrid linebacker help there. Rams, they waived former third-round pick defensive back Terrell Burgess. Colts released running back Phillip Lindsay. They also signed Jake Funk to the practice squad for his spot there. The Chargers, they waived former first-round pick defensive tackle Jerry Tillery. And a couple signings. The Steelers, they signed kicker Matthew Wright off of the Chiefs practice squad. So he will start in Chris Boswell's absence the next 4 weeks at the minimum. Raiders, they signed linebacker Reggie Ragland to the practice squad. So I guess one good thing, Martinez retires, they get Ragland on the practice squad. We'll see how he does. But that is all the news and notes I have for you for the NFL. Let's move on to the college pick standings. Yes, I'm bad. I suck at both standings this year. Taking too many risks, I guess. But Mark and Logan once again tying at the top, 23-8, great records for them. I went 19-12 last week, not very good. I went 0-3 on my Lone Wolves, Oregon State, losing to Washington on Friday. And then I also got Maryland wrong. They lost to Wisconsin in Madison. And then I also got James Madison wrong. They lost to Louisville there in Louisville. Mark did pretty well. He got he went 2-1 in his Lone Wolves. Baylor beating Oklahoma. Pitt right. They upset Syracuse. And then Kansas State, he got wrong. KSU lost to Texas. Logan was a lone wolf machine. I believe he went his record was he had 6-7 lone wolves last week. Lost the Tennessee game to Georgia. Won Michigan State. They upset Illinois. Lost out on Georgia Southern, I believe. Yes, they lost to South Alabama. BYU, he got right. They upset Boise State. Notre Dame upsets Clemson. NC State upsets Wake Forest. And then he got Weber State wrong. So Logan ended up 4-3 in his 7 lone wolves there on the weekend. Crazy. Logan. Craziness there. But I am still I'm 10 games back now. That was crazy. The gap just gets bigger every week. Logan and Mark still tied at top, 214 and 79 overall record. College picks here. Tonight we have 2 games to talk about. There's 3 on the schedule. We're talking about 2 though. ECU at Cincinnati. Great matchup, I think, anyways. Got Logan's picks a little bit late, so I'll just announce his there, and then we'll have him on the show later on. But Cincinnati, I'm going with the Bearcats. Mark's sticking with his Carolina boys and ECU on the road in Cincy. I just think Luke Fickell gets it done. They had a tough game last week, coming off the they had a 10-point win against Navy. So low scoring there. I think this one's going to be higher scoring than that. And I think the Bearcats continue to win, try to move toward a 10-win season and try to get back in the hunt for that one of the two spots in the AAC championship game. Logan, he is going with Cincinnati, so Mark is lone wolfing this game with the Pirates. Over under here is 51.5. I like the over in this game. 8 p.m. on ESPN2. Colorado at number 8, USC. Yes, we're all picking the Trojans, of course. They're 34-point favorites at home. Colorado is so bad. And I don't think they'll have any problem. Jordan Addison should have a good game. He's returning for this one after 2 straight games out with his hamstring injury, I believe. So, yes, USC should roll, and Addison, I expect to have a good night in his return. Over under is 66 here, and I think I'm going to go under. I just don't think the Buffaloes are going to score enough. 9:30 FS1. Saturday, tomorrow, Indiana at number 2, Ohio State. We are all on the Buckeyes, of course. They're 40-point favorites at the shoe in Columbus. Indiana got crushed by Penn State last week. I think that will happen again for Tom Allen's squad, unfortunately, against Ohio State. So, yeah, the Buckeyes should roll relatively easily here. Over under is 60. This one I'm going over. 12 p.m. on Fox. Big noon kickoff. Missouri at number 5, Tennessee. We are all on the Volunteers here. Bounce back game for the Vols. It's at Rocky Top, so I think they should have no issue with Mizzou. Mizzou seems to play up when they're at home, but on the road, it's a different animal. I don't think Eli Drinkwit's squad has what it takes to go into Tennessee and knock them off as a 20.5-point dog. Over under is 57.5. Have to think that's going to go over with Tennessee getting back to their offensive ways in this one. This one's a weird one. It's 12 p.m. on CBS. So early game for CBS this weekend. Number 7, LSU at Arkansas. We are all on the Tigers here. And it was a tough one. I think that Arkansas, my roommate is from Arkansas, so he has insight on the Hogs. He said Arkansas usually plays LSU pretty tough, hoping that LSU does not have a letdown coming off the massive win against Bama last week. And I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a good game, but ultimately LSU comes out on top. Over under 61.5. I'm going to go over on that one there. And 12 p.m. on ESPN. Number 20, Notre Dame at Navy. Surprised kind of that it's only a 15.5-point spread, but that just subjects it to Navy running the triple option and Notre Dame running the ball very well. We're all going with the Irish here. I think Marcus Freeman has this team playing excellently. And I don't think that Navy is the team that will stop them, even though it is in Annapolis there, Maryland. Over under is 39.5. I'm gonna go with the over. I don't know. Over though. Why not? 12 p.m. on ABC. Purdue at number 21, Illinois. Mark's going with the Boilermakers on the road in Champaign. I like the Illini, and I'm lone wolfing Illinois. Why not? Logan's on Purdue with Mark. Look, Illinois struggled last week at home against Michigan State. I just think they're going to get back to it. Tommy DeVito, the play action game with Chase Brown and the Illini are going to win it close. I do kind of like Purdue +7 if you're looking at that. But yeah, give me the Illini and the Lone Wolf. Over-under is 44.5. I'm going to go under. Illinois wins a close, low-scoring game. 12 p.m. ESPN 2. Vandy at number 24, Kentucky. Vanderbilt trying to salvage its season, win 3 straight, and get to a bowl game. I don't think they're there yet in Clark Lea's tenure. So I think we are all on the Wildcats here. Chris Rodriguez has made a tremendous difference for this Kentucky team coming back a couple weeks ago. And I think Will Levis will have a nice day at home in Lexington. And Vandy might cover, though. Look at the +17 for the Commodores here. Over-under is 47. I like the over in that game. 12 p.m. SEC Network. Liberty at UConn. My bad. I forgot to get the UConn logo there. But Liberty, we're all on the Flames here. I was thinking about UConn. I really was. Jim Mora Jr. has done a tremendous job getting this UConn program to 5-5 and on the brink of a bowl berth in his first season at the helm, which is just ridiculous turnaround. But I cannot go against what Hugh Freeze did last week. Beating Arkansas in Fayetteville, I think, was a massive step forward for that Flames program and Jonathan Bennett. And I think Hugh Freeze is going to go on the road to UConn and get it done again. Look out for the 9-1 Flames here. Over-under is 45. I think I'm going to go under, but I would not be surprised if it goes the other way either. 12 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. Nebraska at number 3, Michigan. We're all on the Wolverines here. Yeah, they should absolutely just roll over Nebraska. It's at the big house. I don't think they're going to have any problem. Hopefully Blake Corum runs wild and continues to make his case for the Heisman. I would absolutely love for Blake Corum to win the Heisman this year with a future bet on it there. Over-under is 49. I'm going to go over on that game, and that one's 3:30 on ABC. Number 9, Alabama at number 11, Ole Miss. Mark is going with Ole Miss. He is lone wolfing the Rebels. This is the game I've been waiting for. I think Bama will be pissed that they lost to LSU. They will be pissed that they have 2 conference losses. I don't know the last time Nick Saban has had 3 conference losses, so I have to think Alabama's going to go in to Oxford, Mississippi, and kick the living shit out of Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Give me the Tide. Roll Tide in this game. Ole Miss still a fake. Over-under is 65. I'm going under that. 3:30 SEC on CBS. ACC here, Louisville at number 10, Clemson. And I'm lone wolf in the Cardinals. Look, okay, Clemson's back at home. All right, that's fine. They have one of the longest win streaks in NCAA history at home. I understand that, but it's not a night game in Death Valley. Malik Cunningham coming off a great game against JMU. I think the Cardinals are going to go on the road, give Clemson back-to-back losses, something that doesn't happen very often in Dabo's tenure. And Louisville is going to go to 7-3. Clemson out of the playoff picture with this loss. Over-under is 52. I'm going to go over in that game. 3:30 on ESPN. Maryland at number 14, Penn State. We're all riding the Nittany Lions. Great game last week against Indiana. I think Sean Clifford and really Drew Aller showed a lot in that game. The running game, Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton was electric. I think they do that again. Maryland's defense has been pretty bad all year, despite their 6-3 record. They got run all over by Wisconsin last week. And with Penn State being at home in Happy Valley, I don't see any reason why Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton do not have a field day, just like Braylon Allen and Isaac Garendo had last week for the Badgers. Over-under is 57. I am going to go with the over in that one, and actually under. Something close to last week's score, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll be closer than that, but 45-10. 55 points, just under there. 3:30 on Fox. Boston College at number 16, NC State. We are all on the Wolfpack here, 18.5-point favorites in Raleigh. I don't think they should have much issue with BC. Maybe BC is a little tricky. I don't think so, though. MJ Morris has been lights out since taking over for the injured Devin Leary, and I think he will continue that against Boston College. Over-under is 41. Give me the over on that game. 3:30 ACC Network. We have a lot of 3:30 games on our slate this weekend. Number 22, UCF at number 17, Tulane. And this is the game I'm really most excited about this weekend. I'm hyped. This is a AAC championship preview, I believe. And Logan's Lone Wolf and the UCF Knights here. And you know what? I don't blame him. It's a 1-point spread. And it's strength versus strength. UCF's offense, Tulane's defense. I believe defense wins championships, however. Michael Pratt is good enough on offense, as is Tajay Spears. Don't know if John Rice Plumlee is going to play for UCF or not. Mikey Keene did a nice job last week getting that win there. But I am continuing to ride the green wave, surfing that the whole way to an AAC championship and a New Year's Six bowl berth for Tulane. Over-under is 54.5. Going under. That's how Tulane wins this game, because it goes under. And this one's 3:30 on ESPN2. Army at Troy. We probably should. One of us should have picked Army probably, and one of us probably should have picked Navy on Veterans Day. But unfortunately, those two programs are not very good at this point. We are all on the Troy Trojans. They're at home. And I think that Gunnar Watson and co. get it done, go to 8-2, and they continue to seek out that Sun Belt West Division championship there. They'll cover that spread as well. Over-under is 46. I think I'm going to go under with Army running the ball. That triple option there. 3:30 NFL Network for that game. Wisconsin at Iowa. Mark, Lone Wolf and the Hawkeyes at home in Iowa City. I think this is a very close game. The books think so too. It's a pick'em game. And Logan and I are going with the Badgers. I just think Wisconsin has really stepped up. This is a big game also. When you look at the Big Ten West standings, there's not a bona fide outside of Illinois, but Illinois has 2 losses now in conference. It really opened the door with Michigan State's win last week for many of the teams in the West still. Wisconsin, Purdue, Iowa, Minnesota all have 3 conference losses. They are all in the picture, just 1 game back of Illinois. And Wisconsin, if they can continue to win, might be able to get back to the Big Ten championship again, as even though we know that Michigan or Ohio State is going to win the conference either way, more than likely. Over under here is 35. That's ridiculous. But I'm going under. Under 35 for me. It's a 15-12 type of game. 3:30 FS1. App State at Marshall. And yeah, we're all on Logan is lone wolfing the herd at home. Another close game here, 5-4 teams. Mark and I like App State, and I think it's because Chase Bryce has played very well this year. Not the season that they wanted for App, but I do think they're still a good team. They can run the ball, play very good defense, and I think it's going to be a defensive kind of game here. But give me the Mountaineers on the road. It's going to be tough. I can see it. I can see a Marshall win possibly too. Kind of a coin flip game, as Logan likes to say. Over under here is 47.5. I'm going under that. 330 ESPN Plus. Louisiana Tech at UTSA. We all like the Roadrunners here, and why wouldn't we? They are just crushing the Conference USA opponents right now. 17.5-point favorites at the Alamo Dome this weekend. Don't see why they wouldn't cover that. Louisiana Tech, usually a tough out, but on the road, not having the season like they usually have, around 500 or above. So give me Frank Harris, Corey Franklin, DeCorian Corkley, and co. UTSA gets it done on offense. Over under 68. I'm going under. I don't think Louisiana Tech's going to score that much. 330 ESPN Plus. Texas State at South Alabama. I'm continuing to ride the Jags here. I said that all along this season. South Alabama's my team since in the Sun Belt West, since like about week 4 or so. And why not? I like them again here. Texas State struggling on the year. South Alabama's got everything rolling for them. 16.5-point favorites at home in Mobile. And like that there. Over under is 46. Give me the over. I think Texas State scores just enough to get it to go over 46 there. 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. Go Dogs, number 1 Georgia at Mississippi State in Starkville, Mississippi. We're all on the Dogs here. I think they're going to have a nice game coming off the Tennessee win, and they're going to frustrate Will Rogers. Will Rogers' gunslinging attitude, I think, is going to show in this game. He's going to throw a pick or two, and the Georgia defense is going to stifle that Mike Leach offense and get the win here on the road. Run the ball with Kenny McIntosh and co., and we'll get the dub and get out of Starkville. Over under is 53.5. I'm going to go under. Under 53.5 in that game. 7 p.m. ESPN. What a game. Pac-12 here. Number 25, Washington at number 6, Oregon. We're all on the Ducks. Again, if this one was in Seattle, I would think about Washington. But it's in Oregon. It's in Eugene. So I have to go with the Ducks, as does everyone else here. And I don't know about the 12.5, but I just know Bo Nix is playing out of his mind, the best football of his career. So we'll see what happens. It's a night game in Eugene. Would love to see the Ducks wear their black uniforms at night. Love those things. So Ducks get the win here. Over under 72.5 though. And I'm rolling with the over. Why not? 7 p.m. on Fox. We had a couple of those really high overs here in the late games. Number 19, Kansas State at Baylor. Mark lone wolfing the Wildcats here on the road in Waco at night. I went against Baylor last week. I'm not going to go against them this week. I think they get the win at home. Continue to try to fight back and get back into the Big 12 race here. So give me Baylor at home, 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 52.5. I'm going to go over in that game. 7 p.m. FS1. Number 4, TCU at number 18, Texas. Longhorns 7.5-point favorites over the number 4 team in the country. And I am lone wolfing Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em horns. Steve Sarkisian gets it done on offense. Quinn Ewers does just enough, but it's about Bijan Robinson. I do not think TCU will be able to shut down Bijan Robinson and the Longhorn running game. I think Texas is overall a more complete team than TCU. It's at night in Austin, and TCU cannot afford to start slow for the fourth consecutive week. If they do, I think Texas will jump all over them. Texas defense has been playing very well, and I think they do just enough against Max Duggan to get the win. Over under here is 65. I'm going under on that game. 7:30 on ABC. Number 15, North Carolina at Wake Forest. We're all on the Tar Heels. I think they're going to win this one. I don't know why Wake is favored, but I do think that they're going to get the dub, and Drake May is going to have a good game. Over under is 77. That's ridiculous, but let's go for it. Over. Why not? 7:30 ESPN2. Southern Miss at Coastal Carolina. We are all on the Chanticleers. Tough loss for Grayson McCall, but I think Bryce Carpenter can get it done, and they will still win this one. Maybe not the Sun Belt, but I think they can win at least this game here. Over under is 48, and I'm going to go with the over. The over on that one. 7:30 ESPNU. Excuse me. Number 23 at Florida State at Syracuse. Florida State off, but nature calls, you know. But yeah, Logan Lone Wolf in Syracuse here. Mark and I on the Seminoles. I think Syracuse is just on the downturn right now. Dino Babers can't get it figured out. Don't know if Garrett Schrader is going to play in this game. That's a big thing. It's at night at the Dome. I know I always say don't pick against Syracuse at the Dome, but Florida State has it going right now. Jordan Travis in that offense. So give me the Seminoles on the road. Logan Lone Wolves, the orange. Over under here is 51. And I'm going to go under. Low scoring game at the Dome. 8 p.m. ACC Network. Stanford at number 13 at Utah. We are all on the Utah Utes. And yeah, Stanford has had a tough season. David Shaw there. But I think Cameron Rising. Utah's kind of flying under the radar right now, and they're going to shock some people, possibly make the Pac-12 championship game, and get that done there. Over under is 54. I think I'm going to go over in a high-scoring affair in Salt Lake City, Utah. 10 p.m. ESPN. Pac-12 after dark. Also, Arizona at number 12, UCLA. We're all on the Bruins here. DTR has a nice night against Arizona, who have played some people pretty close this year, but don't think Jaden Delora is going to have enough against the UCLA defense. DTR has a nice night, like I said. And Bruins get it done. Chip Kelly. Over-under is 77. I am rolling with the under, I think, in this game. 10:30 on Fox. Final FBS game here, San Jose State at San Diego State. We're all on the Spartans here. San Jose State making a push for the Mountain West Championship game in the Western Division there. So I think they are going to continue that. Chevin Cordero has played very well this year for SJSU. So give us the Spartans. Over-under is ridiculously low, 40.5. So I'm gonna go with over, I think, in that game. 10:30 FS1. NRFCS game of the week. A big matchup in the Southland Conference here, I believe, is the conference that these two play in. Or is it just the Southern? In the Southern Conference, yes, the Southern. Mark, our resident Southern analyst, Mark, West Carolina, they're going up against ETSU this weekend. This is their conference, though. Number 10, Sanford at number 11, Chattanooga. And big game for Chattanooga trying to stay in the conference race. They are tied with Furman and Mercer with one loss in conference, 5-1. Sanford is 6-0 in conference play, so they need to really get it done here. The Mocs at home, I don't think they're going to do it. Logan does, though. Logan lone wolfing the Mocs. I just think Sanford's quarterback has been ridiculous this year. Michael Hires. He has a crazy 27-3 touchdown interception ratio, completing 76.4% and 2,473 passing yards. Last 3 games alone, he has 11 touchdown passes to 1 interception. So that's why really I'm picking the Bulldogs here, and Logan lone wolf and the Mocs. NFL pick standings. Logan getting us again. 9-2 for him. Mark and I did pretty well. We went 8-3 together. But can't beat Logan yet. He is now 6 up on Mark. 12 up on myself. It's pretty bad here in the basement on both pick standings. But I lone wolf. Mark and I both got our lone wolves wrong last week. Logan didn't have any. I got the Rams wrong. Probably should have won, but Vintage Brady showed up in the last drive there. So Rams lost to the Bucks, and then the Raiders lost to the Jags. Mark lone wolf to Vegas there. So Munich, we have a game in Germany on Sunday morning. We are all going with the Seattle Seahawks. It was funny. I kept telling people, I saw a story on ESPN or a segment on ESPN Wednesday, I believe it was, that said it was an upset alert segment, and they're like, will the Seahawks upset the Bucks in Germany? And I'm like, how is that an upset? And technically by the bookmakers, it is. I don't see it. The Seahawks have clearly been the better team this year, and I think they will get it done in Germany against the Bucks, who are struggling. People probably want to overplay the fact that Brady came back and beat the Rams at the buzzer. But if they were actually a good enough team, they wouldn't have had to do that. So give me the Seahawks. It's going to be a tough day for Kenneth Walker to run the ball, but I think there are opportunities for Geno Smith as long as they can protect him from Shaq Barrett and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka there, and Vita Vea specifically. I think there are opportunities for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett against the Bucks secondary. Give it the Seahawks in Germany there. Apparently there are a lot of Seahawks fans as well in the streets, so love to see that. This one, over-under is 44.5. I'm going to go under that because of the Bucks defense. And then 9:30 a.m. NFL Network. 1 o'clock games here. Starting off Saints at the Steelers. And I am lone wolfing Pittsburgh. Yes. Give it to me. TJ Watt is back. He makes this Steelers defense that much better than they've already played without him. And I think Kenny Pickett takes the next step. The Saints are reeling right now. It doesn't feel that way with the Steelers. It feels like the Steelers are consistent. Just, we're gonna get Kenny to grow, and Matt Canada's gonna continue to progress here as a play caller, and we're gonna get this team to where it needs to be. And maybe we don't make the playoffs this year, but we get a respectable record and move on to the next year. But yeah, give me the Steelers. Like I said, TJ Watt. I think Kenny Pickett takes a step, and the Saints are not that great right now. Over-under is 40. I am going to go with the under in this game. Vikings at the Bills. Now, this game is interesting. We're all on Buffalo. I do think Case Keenum can beat the Vikings. It'll be tougher, but I do think he can do it, and I think that's how we all think here. Minnesota, despite their 7-1 record, they're undefeated in one-score games. I believe they're 4-0. Or every game. No, they're all 7 of their wins, I believe, have come by one score. No, their last 6 games have all been by one score, and they're 6-0 in one-score games this year. That's ridiculous. That cannot continue to happen. Just retracting to the mean. So yeah, I think that Buffalo gets it done. It's at home in Orchard Park, and Case Keenum comes in and proves he's one of the best backups in the league. Over-under is 43. I'm going to go over on that one. Lions at the Bears. This one was a little bit tough to pick, I thought, but we're all on Chicago. Justin Fields playing well. And they have the running game. I think that's going to be a big factor in this one. Hopefully Khalil Herbert gets a lot of work in this one. I need him to for my fantasy team. But yeah, I think the Bears can get this one done. I could see, though, if the Lions win, wouldn't be shocked, considering what the Bears have on defense right now. Over-under is 48.5. Yeah, I'm going to go over. Why not? Both defenses are not very good. Broncos at the Titans. And here I am. Load wolf it again. I think Russell Wilson is going to do a nice job. Ryan Tannehill is questionable. I think he'll play, but how much does that factor into it? I don't know. The Broncos defense is a top 10 unit this year, especially against the run. I think they're going to do a nice job on Derrick Henry, and they can cover 101 in the back end with how bad the Titans pass catchers are at getting open. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Nathaniel Hackett's defense, Aviro there, stack the box, put 7 in there, 8. We're going to run man coverage back end, and we believe our guy's going to beat your guys, which I think that would happen. So yeah, give me the Broncos, and they have a good defensive performance against Tennessee and Nashville. Over-under is 39, and I'm going to go under. Low-scoring game. Broncos win 17-13. Jags at the Chiefs. Kind of surprised no one wanted to take Jacksonville. It's a close one in my mind, a lot closer than the spread. And I think Kansas City is going to win, but it's going to be close. Jags are going to cover. You're going to see a lot more Kadarius Toney with Mecole Hardman out this week. Over under is 51. I'm going to go with the over in this game. Browns at the Dolphins. We're all on Miami. Weirdly enough, there's only 2 road teams favored this week, the Saints and the Cowboys. Crazy home schedule. So they're bound to be some upsets, which is why I picked the Broncos. Picked the Steelers, even though they're a home dog. And obviously the Seahawks, technically the road team in Munich there. But yeah, I don't think the Browns are going to be able to go into Miami and win. Their secondary is not going to be able to face Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and Teron Armstead, I think, will protect Tua enough against Myles Garrett. The over-under for this game here is 49. I'm going under. I think the Dolphins defense plays well against Jacoby Brissett, and maybe the run game gets it over, but I see it going under 49 there. Not scoring 7 touchdowns in this game. Texans at the Giants. No one trusts the Texans, who took the Eagles to the brink in the first half of that Thursday night game last week, apparently. Was at home, however. This one is on the road in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. But yeah, I think the Giants are going to bounce back after a bye week there. Saquon's going to run wild on the Texans defense, to my fantasy team's chagrin. And yeah, I think that the Giants continue to win against a bad Texans team here. Over under here is 40.5. Kind of surprised it was only 4.5 on the spread there, being at home for the G-men off a bye. But 40.5 for the spread. I'm going to go with the under. I think the Giants defense does a good job on the Texans offense, and they limit the scoring there. Under 40.5 for me. Colts at the Raiders. This game is just a shit show. I mean, no Darren Waller, no Hunter Renfrow for the Raiders offense. Blake Martinez retires for the Raiders defense. And on the Colts, it's just sporadic. Jeff Saturday, interim head coach. Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. No Shaquille Leonard. No Jelani Woods at tight end. I don't even know. This game's going to end in a tie, probably, in my mind. We're all on the Raiders somehow. I could see the Colts winning this game. Jeff Saturday gives them a boost, but I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to let that happen. The Raiders are having a terrible season somehow, despite their good play. 3 losses when leading by 17 plus, which is tied for the most in NFL history in a season. Don't think that's going to happen this game. And don't even think – I think it might be close, but yeah, Vegas gets it done at Allegiant Stadium. Over-under is 41. Over, I guess. Cowboys at the Packers. We're all on Dallas here. Green Bay is terrible. They're just so bad. Losing to the Lions last week, I think, was kind of the final straw for a lot of Packers fans. And it doesn't get much easier hosting the Dallas Cowboys. This has been a bit of a rivalry in the past couple of years. And it's Mike McCarthy's return to Green Bay with the Cowboys. So I think there'll be added motivation for him to beat the Packers and say, well, this is what you released. So, but yeah, other than that, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a tough day against Micah Parsons. Just how it's going to go. Over-under is 44 here. I'm going to go under. Don't believe in the Packers offense to score. I do believe in the Cowboys defense to keep it low scoring. Cardinals at the Rams. Mark Lone Wolf and the Cards here on the road at his LA Rams. The Rams tough loss last week against the Bucks. I think they're going to bounce back here. Cooper Kupp is going to have a field day against that bad Cardinals secondary. Buda Baker is questionable for this game. So if he's out, it's even worse of a secondary than it already was. Yeah, give me and Logan the Rams at home, 2-point close one there. Over-under is 40.5. I'm going to go over. Sunday Night Football, Chargers at the 49ers. We are all on San Francisco. I was thinking about picking LA. It's a tough game on the road at Levi Stadium, but Christian McCaffrey has a great day against the Chargers defense, specifically catching the ball out of the backfield. I think he's going to get a lot of PPR points in this game. And Jimmy G does enough to get the win. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but Niners eke one out. Robbie Gould kicks the game-winning field goal there. Over-under is 45.5. And I think we're going to actually go under that, just under, kind of like a 24-21 classic here. That gets you 245, by the way. Under by the hook. Best bets of the week. So it was an interesting week last week. 0-1-2. So not terrible. I'd rather push than lose. So 0-1-2, 11-12-4 on the season. Crazy to get two pushes in the same week, but that's how we do it. Last week, I pushed the Chargers -3 at the Falcons. Game-winning field goal by Cameron Dicker there. Dicker the kicker. Dolphins -4.5 at the Bears. Lost that one. They won by 3 as well, as did the Vikings. They pushed to -3 at the Commanders. Game-winning touchdown reception for Dalvin Cook. So this week, I like the Jags +9.5 at the Chiefs. Biggest spread of the weekend. I think they're going to play the Chiefs closer, kind of like the Titans did. And the Jags cover, but don't win there in Kansas City. The Dolphins are going back to that well there, -3.5 against the Browns. I think, again, just like the Bears, the Browns, this one's in Miami. That one was in Chicago. Being at home, I think the Dolphins are going to have a good day on offense, and they're going to score too much for the Browns to cover 3.5. And then I'm also going back to the LA Chargers this week, +7 at the Niners. Again, like I said, I think it's going to be a closer game than people think, than what the spread is of 7. And I can see the Chargers getting it close. And then, like I said, Robbie Gould goes down, kicks the game-winning field goal for the 49ers. Lock standings. We all got our locks right last week. Logan and I, we got the Vikings right, beating the Commanders in Washington, and then the Mark got the Dolphins right. They won in Chicago. Mark leads the way still, 7-2. Great record for him through 9 weeks, through the first half of the season here. And then Logan 1 game back at 6-3, and I am 2 games back at 5-4. Finally back over 500. There. So here are our locks of the week. Logan is going with the Chiefs. They are 9.5-point favorites. So he got lucky by a half point. Our rule of not picking a lock that is 10 or more favored, double-digit favorites there. So he is going with the Chiefs to beat the Jags as his lock of the week. Pretty chalk there, Logan, if I do say so. I am going with the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Packers in Green Bay. Like I said, I think the defense plays very well. Aaron Rodgers struggles. The offensive line is going to struggle against the pass rush to Marcus Lawrence. and Micah Parsons there. And then Mark is going with the Giants to beat the Texans there, kind of chalk as well, Mark. But 4.5 points, a lot better than Logan's 9.5 points. I think the Giants do get it done, as we all picked them there in East Rutherford. And the Saquon, like I said, I think runs wild. Dog standings, look at that, all 2-0. Perfect lock and dog weekend last week, partially because Logan and I were on the same page for both. But Logan and I got the Jags plus 1.5 right at the Raiders. They won outright by 7. And then Mark getting the Seahawks plus 2 at the Cardinals right. They also won outright in Arizona. So I am still leading the way, 13-5 there. Logan is 1.5 games back, I believe. That's how that math works out. I'm not exactly sure. But Mark is still 7 back of me. At least I can win one standing there. Dogs of the week here, Mark and Logan. They are on the same page. Seahawks plus 2.5 at the Bucks in Munich. Mark on back-to-back weeks with Seattle there. I think that will hit and they will win outright. I am going with the Steelers. This is one of my lone wolves this week, plus 1.5 against the Saints. Again, I think Kenny Pickett has a nice day. They run the ball with Najee Harris. They have to utilize the game plan that the Ravens did. Run the ball against the Saints defense, which struggled against that. And Kenny Pickett gets involved in that running game like Lamar did as well. I think that is the key to beating the Saints defense. And then, like I said, TJ Watt coming back on that Pittsburgh defense elevates their play exponentially. So give me Pittsburgh at home plus 1.5. Next week, we will be back talking NFL Week 11 kickoff. Titans at the Packers and the Monday Nighter Commanders at the Eagles. We'll also give you the Monday night and Thursday night recaps of those two games. And or those two games. We'll be talking those two games. And as well as the college football recaps. Do we have college games coming up? I believe we should have some more MACtion for you next week. Yes, we do. Tuesday, Wednesday, and there's a game on a Thursday night in the AAC as well. Pretty good one, if I do say so. But we'll get you all caught up on those. We'll give you our picks for the college and NFL games, as well as our dogs and locks of the week, my best bets as well. As always, don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAA_bets is our betting account. We had a nice win last night in my first pick in a while, but Panthers money line hit last night for us. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Also, check out our shop on our website. We have some great Thanksgiving. We have a great Thanksgiving design out. Family, food, and football. That is what we're thankful for this time of year. Our logo is on the back of those shirts. And